Hello, I'm Richard Berkeley and welcome to businessandfranchiseopportunity.com. The following videos in this series cover the questions you need to ask in order to make an informed and wise purchasing decision on the type of franchise or business opportunity that is right for you. Now to the questions. Okay, we're going to take the next question. This one was sent in to us by Sandra. And Sandra asks, what are the key elements to success in terms of owning a franchise? Well, good thing I had time to think about this before we got on the video, because of course I think that has a lot of answers. And I think, quite frankly, most of those answers would normally come out, well, you need to make a good choice. You need to have the appropriate financing. You need to have the support of your family behind you, and you need to have done your research and your due diligence. And I would agree with absolutely all of those. But really, in thinking about it, and once again, having owned many franchises myself, and always finishing in the top 5 or 10 of the franchises I was involved in, and quite often being number 1, I really had to look at the things that helped me be successful. And quite frankly, I would call these soft issues. And soft issues in terms of vision, passion and leadership, and more importantly than anything, having the heart. And so, I'm happy to kind of talk about these as items that you want to really seriously consider if you're thinking about starting your own business or a franchise. And the best way I think to relate this to you is, I'm sure all of you have worked for a number of different organizations today. Some of them you absolutely enjoyed, some of them you may not have liked at all, and some of them you may have absolutely hated. And what you need to do is think about why that was so. What was different about the ones you loved and versus the ones that you didn't like as much. And quite often you'll find certainly it's not what the company did. It's not their product, it's not their service. It would probably point more towards the culture and or sort of the emotional feelings that were gathered while being inside of that company. And so, what do I mean by that? Well, think about the places that you've enjoyed being the most. What was it that you enjoyed being there? Well, I can tell you probably one of the significant things you liked was you probably knew where you were going, what you were doing. You probably felt part of a team. There was probably significant leadership in this organization. Now, that may not have been in your department, that may have been at the top of the company. That may have been the president of this company, the CEO, the founder of this company. This could have been a small company, so that CEO and founder could have been working right next to you at a front counter. Or this could have been a very large company, and they could have been many divisions away. But that leadership, funny enough, always trickles down. And it's the vision of that leader, that really, gets people to join in, to participate, to be part of the company they're working for, to have a passion for what it is they do. And what's amazing, you can have 2 companies on opposing corners with identical products, yet one will continue to grow and open multiple locations, and the other one will wither and die on the vine. They have the same products, they may even have the same pricing. What's the difference between the two? And you'll find that the culture of the company is exciting, that people enjoy being there, and ultimately that passes on to the customer itself. One of my favorite thoughts from years ago is one time I took a vehicle that I had in for some service, and up on the wall of that service bay it said, I believe it was quality and service is job 1. I stood there at that counter waiting to talk to somebody for almost 20 minutes. In the time that I was standing there, the service people picked up 4 or 5 phone calls. Now, had I phoned, I'd have actually got service in front of anybody standing in front of this individual. They didn't prioritize me, they didn't say hello to me, and they really allowed me to stand there and pretty much get angry at the amount of time that was taken before they were actually able to ask me the question, take my keys, and book my vehicle for service. So frankly, that statement, I've used this many times over and over again, where I say, I am sure that Henry Ford, when he started that company, it was serious to him, and service and quality was job 1 at Ford. But when you get 50,000 or 100,000 employees deep, is quality and service job 1 for them? Well, if it's maintained inside of the culture of the company and it's passed down from management group, to employee, to trainee, to apprentice, yes, that culture will be maintained. But if it's not coming from the top, it's not flowing to the bottom. So you can imagine working inside of a company that, loves what they do, believes their customers are number one, they go out of their way to service them. Of course, they're going to do better business. So let's look at this from the point of view that you may have a company or you may be interested in buying a franchise. What sort of leader would you be? What sort of an environment would you create for your people? Would it be fun for them to come to work every day? When I owned some of my first print franchises, there was about 300 of them around the world, and I had the lowest staff turnover of all of them because my people enjoyed coming to work. Now, I can't tell you we didn't have some sort of arbitrary highest pay or we paid what everybody else paid. We made sure that we paid on profits and people could earn bonuses, but we had fun. We loved being there. I had a vision for the company. We wanted to be number one. We had two competitors in our marketplace that for fun we just put the sights on. They had been 25 and 28 years in the business, and in 3 years we managed to become as big as them. And we did that having fun and birthday cakes on Wednesday and enjoying ourselves what we did, but I also shared all the knowledge of the company. I gave all the employees access to the actual financials of the company. They could see what their department was doing and how that department was doing. And we would also look to hire people who wanted to be part of a process like that. And I can't tell you that this was a 100% sort of utopian panacea where everything went right. We had staff problems, and we had some people who were fired and didn't fit, and but in the end, we maintained a culture because we maintained a vision. We maintained the vision that people are good, and given the appropriate tools, they'll love to get out and work for you and do the job that you ask of them if you take the time to train them, if you make them part of the process. So I think these are the critical and the key elements of building a very successful company. And we can look to companies like Johnson & Johnson, and this company has been extremely consistent, and in the top 10 companies in the world year after year after year. Yet the leadership of that company has changed many times. But I know inside of the desk drawer of the CEO of Johnson & Johnson are original letters from the original CEO of Johnson & Johnson. And I know when they had the Tylenol scare that everybody probably remembers, the CEO who's at the desk at the time pulled out the letter from the original CEO that told him, it's all about the customers. And they never flinched, and they pulled every product off every shelf and lost millions of dollars doing it. But customers knew that safety was first, and Johnson & Johnson could be trusted, and they're still trusted today. What kind of CEO or what kind of leader will you be? What sort of principles, leadership, and vision would you bring to your company? If you can really examine those issues and get an opportunity to run your own company, and you can bring these things and they come from the heart, find something that you can be passionate about. Go out there and find an organization who thinks like you think, sings out of the same songbook, has a passion to make a difference. Quite often, many franchises have chosen charities, and you can do a lot of work beyond what it is you do inside that franchise. So, if I can give you any advice, find a franchise that has those elements for you, and they're about, for you. There's franchises that educate children. There's franchises that make differences in everything that they do. If that's a passion for you, pick that one.
Hello, this is Richard Berkeley. I'd like to thank you for watching my videos. If you're interested in purchasing a franchise and looking for additional information to help you make an informed purchasing decision, I'd like you to come to my website at www.businessandfranchiseopportunity.com. Thank you.